Hello. Yes, Sita. That was in yeah. Eh? It is in your phone. It's in yours, Baba. Did you check? Yeah, yeah. Hmm. I was in your phone. You also yeah. I remember because I came then I asked you increase brightness. Yeah, yeah. increase brightness.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are waiting for the next 2 minutes before we start. I hope everyone is able to see my screen, right? All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Rukshana from Shooting Stars Foundation. I will be the program's host today, and I'll give you a quick intro about Shooting Stars Foundation, what we do here, and what this program is all about. So, the Shooting Stars Foundation is a nonprofit that was founded in 2015, and followed by that, from then till now, we have been sponsoring more than 1,000 people, and out of which 1,200 global scholarships have been given. We have hosted hackathons and startathons for 40,000 plus students, especially our last hackathon, which included, IBM hackathon with over five in-person locations across the world, namely Germany, South Africa, London, and two in-person locations right here in India. So, with that being said, we also have special training programs such as skilling, where we teach our students about the coding languages, and we have 30 plus scholars in that too. And as I've already said, we are fond of hosting a lot of hackathons. Last year, especially, we hosted a hackathon with Persistent System, helped by employees from IBM, TCS, Yes Bank, Cognizant, PayPal, Citrix, and much more corporates. So this event is basically, as you all know, women's economic contribution in India sums up to 17% of the GDP. We just want to rise this bar, and India currently ranks in the 57th position out of 65 nations. So even in the Mastercard Index on women entrepreneurship, it ranks 70th among 77 countries, which is very low for an country with much potential. So our aim is to bring a lot of women, bring what is within themselves, help them express better, and also bring their startup dream come true. So only, as you all know, only 5.9% of the technology-based startups were founded by females. We really want to increase this percentage, out of which we want to drive nearly 25 organizations by the end of this startathon. And we'd also like to match up 25 plus co-founders with the startups. The expected outcomes, as I say, is, we additionally, along with this 25-25, we also would like to, get started with the 15 women who want to start a career in investment or in a high growth role, such as AIR, chief of staff, etc. And the another expected outcome of this event is 15 ideas, where we try to incubate at the incubators and accelerators. And out of that, we also have another 15 ideas that will be funded via grants, angel investors and VC funds, etc. So, as a part of maximizing all the outcomes for the participants, we have organized this learning sessions. So, in these learning sessions, we'll come to know more about how you can make your, startup investment ready or market ready. And in that series, today we have Mr. Mahavir with us, who will be, explaining every key steps and also help you take your startup dream into, something that would be market friendly or market ready. So thank you so much for listening till this extent. I'll hand over the mic back to Mr. Mahavir. Sir, I would like to lend the mic to give a quick intro about yourself, by which we can take this session ahead, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Always good to be amongst young budding startups who want to scale up beyond whatever their sector or domain that they have been able to. So, congratulations to all of you for joining. I hope I will be able to help you with what you can do, how you can do, what you should do rather to achieve funding from investors at an early stage. If not, in my 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes of monologue, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions specific to your sector or your startup that you might have, and look at them specifically. We have exactly 50 minutes to go from now until this is over. So, see, raising money, the first check, the first raise is always the most difficult thing to do. It is not something very easy, and I don't want to tell you that the path of raising your first check will be easy. Most of you are in a sector which other people are already doing work in that sector. Other startups or other businesses have existing roles to play, either entirely or there is an overlap. So the challenge becomes that why you and why not the people who are already existing? Why should I, as an investor, think of you as a successful co-founder or a team to scale this business, and why not the other people who are already in business or who have raised money or who have traditional businesses who are in the sector that you are? So you have to actually think out of the box. You have to come up with a go-to-market strategy, maybe. Maybe you have to come up with a product or service that's different from what others are doing. Maybe your pricing has to be different. If you're not different clearly, visibly, I mean, in front of the investors, we will not be able to invest in you. So I'll take a simple example. If you are doing a marketplace of, let's say, all the salons that a city has. Obviously, many people have tried to do that. Many people are doing that. They are listed on many portals. Many people are saying that they are giving. So many people will try and come and tell us that they're trying to have a software as a solution for the salons to manage, so they have appointments, they can have a social media marketing. So there has to be a catch. So the catch could be something, an extra service that a salon might want to have in terms of software that they need to book appointments, to make sure the employees are given off when the lean period is there, to make sure that extra people, can work off-site. All that is good, but the biggest challenge is not trying to get the salons. Salons need business. They will come. They will share revenue if they get booking from your platform. The challenge is to get consumers like us to go to the salon for a haircut or for makeup. The problem is that. So is there a solution to that? Maybe not. If someone has that solution, that, hello, I have a database of 2 million people because I had an education app that I did, in which I did college fees, and all the college students have just graduated, and I have that 2 million database, and that is my USP. Possibly you can then reach out and connect those salons with those people. So you have to have something that is different from what others can provide. And this is just a simple example of a business that already exists. Something that you might be trying to do. So it's very simple, but you have to prove to the investors that you have something more than what other people have or could possibly have. This is for a case where something is already existent, but you can do it better, cheaper, faster, whatever the adjective that might work for your sector. Now, even in this situation, for you to prove that 2 million database is worthy of being sold to or invested in, or the reason why I should give you the valuation or the money, you have to prove to me that, okay, start off by a small number, let's say 100,000 rather than 2 million. Let's see what percentage people use the salons. So if you have a database of a college in Delhi, the salons, you have database of salons in Delhi and they're onboarded. Let's send 100,000 messages or emails and see how many people come to your platform for the salons. Then we will know out of 100,000, 2,000 came. So the strike rate is 2%. And this is the revenue. So this will give you, with a lesser amount of money, which is your own money possibly, or your friends and family money, give you that how good your data, or what is the turnaround calculation for whatever you have, your USP will yield. And now you can multiply that with 2 million, 20 times of 2,000. So you will have at least 40,000 people. And if everyone gives you 100 rupees, you will have so much of revenue. Now we have a definitive roadmap. Now I can see that, yes, with 2 million people or 200,000, they could do so much. So with 2 million, they will do so much. And this data is good. It is not just junk. People do respond, and they are capable of getting all the salons in Delhi NCR. So maybe the market is good, and maybe they can get a pre-seed round or a grant or a small token of money to see if they can do this with 1 million people and so on and so forth. So even with a USP, even with something different, even with something better, you really need to prove to me with revenue or traction, number of users, number of people downloading your app or on visits on the website or staying on the website, whatever definitive numbers, you have to prove to me with a smaller portion so that I can believe or I can do a maths on what you can possibly do. So all of that responsibility or the onus lies with you. It doesn't lie with us as investors. You should have that data there with you. Obviously, if you're not at that stage where validation is already done, maybe you're already running a business, now you want to scale up, and this is case number 2. If you want to scale up and raise money now with the existing customers, you have the numbers, you have the data. Now I need to know, do you have a referral plan? How many times does one person come to you and then come back to you again? What is the repeat rate? What is the money that you've spent to acquire that customer? What is the average ticket value of that customer? Is your CAC lower than the average ticket value, or are you recovering your money in 6 months or in 2 visits? So that number and that data will now tell me that for all the social media marketing or any other marketing in exhibitions or whatever marketing that's right for your product or service, what will that yield in? So every 100 rupees I spend on acquiring a customer, how do I recover that? Does the supplier make money? Do I make money? Does the customer save money? And all these things of referral, repeat, average ticket size, cost of customer acquisition, those data become important, because it's not just about raising 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores. It's also about how much money you need. With that money, where will you reach? And what should be the right valuation, because this is your income that's going to be, and this is what the sectoral earnings are. So it's very important that we as investors at an early stage have a certain matrix after traction. Also, it's not just having that traction and validation. It's very, very important that you have all that data, because this will give us the fact that will you be able to burn money for 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, whatever. So it's very, very clear that we should know where we stand and how you will scale up. The third thing that you need to know is the competition. Now, most of you, when we ask you for your competition in your field, or the pitch decks that we get normally have a competition which is direct competition. You don't see indirect competition. There are so much of indirect competition coming from other fields and other domains that you don't. So if I say, let's go back to the salon example. So if I ask you salon, you will give me all the companies, all the portals that have salons listed from Delhi, Bombay, Madras, whatever. But you will not see that Dial Me Now or some other people who are just listing, who have these people sitting in this city and calling up people that we will send you 10 queries a month or whatever. They are not as your customers, because they're dealing in hardware also, they're dealing in salons also, they're dealing in furniture also, they're dealing in all 10,000 things. But they have a small portion where I Google, and then I see that they have paid Google and they're on the top on the sponsored list, and they have a salon vertical also amongst 10,000 other things that have a marketplace for. So you have to understand that those are also your competition to a certain extent. Google itself is a big competition, because if I pay Google and you don't pay Google, I'll be on the top, irrespective of what. Even if a salon who has 25 outlets in a city like Delhi, spread across Delhi, if I paid Google and if someone writes salon, your marketplace or your software will not be on the top, but that person will be on the top because he's spread across Delhi. So you have to understand that there are competitions in each ways, exactly similar to what you're doing, but also something that other people are not doing. Many cases that we have seen is that now AI or experiential uh, shopping is disrupting existing models also. So you have to be cognizant of the fact that where is the technology going? What will happen tomorrow? Do I really need to have these data points? Do I really need to give this service when someone will give this service for free? So you have to be very, very clear. Competition and awareness of your competition, not only for raising money, that also is for you to succeed and be able to do something different. It's very, very important. Now, all these cases are for situations or businesses that already exist, cases or ideas that people have and you're trying to do things differently. But there are cases where there's an IP is involved. Maybe you have created something that no one else has. Maybe there is a software code that you have. Maybe you are in some healthcare or health service provider. Maybe you are in some services where consultation or advisory on mental health or whatever is happening. So in those cases, obviously you have to go deep. We have to go deeper into the technology. We have to go deeper how your mental health solution is better. How AI that you have taken as an open source, automating and helping me calm down when I need help for my stress. So all these things when it's technology, when it's unique, when it's IP, you really have to go deeper into the technology part of it. Your knowledge on tech, your knowledge on the ability of tech, your case of use of whatever technology that you're using has to be very, very clear, and it is very, very formidable. If it is not in existence and we feel that though you're using it, though you're saying you're using it, but because you don't know the details in the technology, it becomes a little bit of a stress for us in terms of whether when technology evolves, whether when technology changes, whether when other people who come with a better tech, they are able to do something, would you be able to survive the competition? Would you be able to continue to improvise on the tech that you're depending on, which is your IP today, and someone else comes with a better tech, or someone else comes with an easier tech? So those things are very, very important when it is a strong IP or a strong product or service that you have which no one else has. I mean, either it's being imported from Europe or America and you have it, and there are many products that like that, and many people do have products that are not available in India, that are being made outside, but now you've started to make it in India. So you do have an advantage, but you have to know the product. You have to know how you are different, how you are cheaper than what's being imported, how you're better than what's being imported, how India is a market for that product, what is the import data. So all those numbers on product, technology, cost of import, duty, all that has to be very, very clear, because you are living a product or a service, and we need to know that you know everything about the product and service. So those things in where you have an IP are very, very critical for us to be convinced. Many a times, products are good, teams are good, services are good. There are revenues. You have a small differentiator, but you get stuck because now you're not scaling up. Now, if you've been around for a year or two, you have, let's say, 10 lakhs of monthly revenue, you're breaking even, or you're making 25,000 or 50,000 rupees out of 10 lakhs per month. You're not taking in salary. So technically you're not making, but you are making it on the paper because you are a founder. Now you're not scaling up. So the month that you spend money on marketing and sales on Google or Meta or whatever, you have an increased sale, your cost goes up, your sales happen, you stop doing it, your sales come down. That stagnation also is a deterrent. So when having done all the things, whether on a business that I said case one and case two, or in a unique product, if we see that you don't have the virality, you don't have the possibility of scaling up at 10x in 1 year with lower money every time to scale up 10 times, we also, again, it is a deterrent in our mind, because then for every 1 rupee we spend, we'll increase our sales by 10 rupees. And if we stop spending then one, we will not have the 10 rupees sales. It is not going to work. Then it's a regular business. It is not a startup, because every time that I spend 1 rupees today, I want to have 10 rupees sale. Tomorrow, when I spend 10 rupees, it is not 100 rupees of sale. I want 1,000 rupees of sale, because we have now grown. So you have to understand that the exponential growth for every money spent on marketing or product or R&D has to yield a much higher sales number, and that graph, the hockey stick graph, should be visible to us, or should be going in that direction, so that we can take a gamble or we can invest in you. So even if you have a business, even if you have a unique product, even if you have traction for a year or two, even if you are growing slowly, if you don't have the potential to scale up fast for whatever reason, just in addition to having money from us, you really need to look at the whole plan and redo the maths and redo the business. And that is also what is needed at times, and which is fine. We sometimes, and organizations that are part of it, and the mentoring that happens around it. And these are the kind of calls that we get on to help you mentors see what you can do differently, look at it from different points of view, and then scale up. So basically, being mentored by a good advisor on the sector, being mentored by someone who's good on marketing or sales or branding or scaling up, is also not a bad option at that point of time. Because sometimes when you're involved with your own business, you're so indulged in love with the product that you don't see the larger picture. You don't want to change. Many a times I've seen many startups come up with 100 SKUs, when the top selling ones are 90% of the sales is 10 SKUs that I have, but they still would want to have those 90 SKUs, because they don't want to lose that one customer, not realizing that the cloud space that they have, the marketing, the inventory, the whatever is, it's all waste. If you just had 10 products, and or 15, 20 products, and not worry about the 10% of the sales, it doesn't really matter. But people don't understand that. And this is not a generic rule, but mostly this is the case, and this is what sometimes an outsider can tell you. And so going to a mentor or being mentored is also not a bad idea if you're stagnating at a number or at a point that you cannot scale up. So that's broadly, at an early stage, what we look at. Happy to discuss on the specific sectors that you have. I've had a good 15, 18 minutes of my one monologue. Happy to answer any questions. Just raise your hand, and happy to reply to whatever I can in my, the best of my ability under the limited time that we have.
Dear participants, once you raise your hands, I'll be able to.
Or you can put the question in the chat and she can read it out. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy to raise money, is all I can tell you, and times are pretty tough. Everyone, despite doing the best, um, uh, we have so many investors that you have, but there are so many equally startups that we have to look at, and we sometimes there's nothing wrong with you, but I have a better option of investment, so I sometimes don't end up spending or investing in something that I would have. Yeah, Akshita. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Hi,
So
good
my
evening.
question is that according to you, what is the best time to raise money for a startup? Like for now, we are in the making prototype stage. So like when should we raise a seed round, or what's your
So
point in that?
when you're at the stage of prototype stage, if you don't have a IP, taking a grant is a better idea, depending on the state that you are in. Many state governments have grants of 10 to 50 lakhs. I would recommend you take a grant at an incubation center or from the state government that you are in. Prototypes are normally not funded unless they are in the space of very deep tech, biotech stage, and the co-founders of the team has a stellar experience or educational background to deliver that product. Otherwise, investments at a prototype stage don't happen. So that's what I would tell for someone who has a prototype. But to the first question that you asked, when should you raise money? You should only raise money when you need money. Otherwise, don't raise money. If you're growing 10%, 20% month on month, even 5% month on month, 50% year on year, you don't need, and we are profitable, don't need to raise money.
All right, I happen to have one question from Priyashri Goshal. How many slides should be prepared for the pitch and how much time should be taken to pitch?
You know, this is a very, very, this is my favorite question. And if you can't explain your startup in 30 seconds, you're not worthy of raising money. If you can't explain your startup in 2 minutes, without making it boring or repetitive from the 30 seconds, you're not worthy of raising money. And so on, so on for 5 minutes and 7 minutes. Should not be more than 7 to 8 minutes maximum. You should be ready with a 30-second pitch. Your slide should not be more than 15. 12, 13 is the right number, if you ask me honestly. Don't answer or don't put slides that have obvious things. For example, I've done I've done a pair of slippers that will cure arthritis. And the market size, I know how many feet exist in India. So I know how many arthritis old people there are. So see, these are, sometimes your first pitch is just a teaser. If it excites me enough and I ask the questions, that means basically in the idea and the concept and the sector that you're in, I'm happy to look at it. Otherwise, I'd say, no, too crowded. I don't want it. No, thanks. We're not interested. I'll not ask you a question if I feel that you're doing something that 1,000 other people are doing. Or if I know for a fact that this will need a lot more money than what you're asking for. So it's simple. But if I ask you a question, really, how many kids do we have with juvenile diabetes? No, that's a number that I don't know as an investor, but you are curing juvenile diabetes, and that's a specific sector. Then you give that slide, otherwise it's not needed. So it's something that's obvious, something that tells me how many people have a haircut. I know how many people will have a haircut. I know how many salons there are in India. I know how many. So point I'm trying to make is, don't give irrelevant stuff. Many a times I have seen all of you, when a 30-second, 2-minute, 5-minute, 7-minute pitch, 60% of the time you end up explaining the problem. Now, if I were to say that I can cure your eyesight, do I need to tell people that people have cataract, India is losing, people are getting old, 50% wear glasses? I don't have to repeat the problem 5 times in 5 different ways. I can cure eyesight. Tells me that problem is eyesight. I have seen you guys go dwell. Oh, you know how the environment is suffering. The AQI levels in Delhi are 500, in China, I know all that. You will bring AQI levels from 500 to 850. That is in itself tells where the problem is you will have. So many a times the solution has the problem within. You cut down the time by those 2-3 minutes that you spend telling the problem. Most everyone talks about the problem more. Come up with a solution. Second, what is the different solution that you have from what already exists? So while there are many solutions to reducing the pollution, including not burning whatever Punjab is burning, but I have this device that will reduce the AQI in your room or in your factory or in your industry. Simple things is what you need. You don't need to go on and on. Same goes with the deck. If you start with if you start with the deck on the problem slide, solution slide, market, competition, it's so boring. If your numbers are important, you start with the numbers first. That in the last 1 year, we started this and we have a revenue of 1 crore in a year, when our average ticket size is 100 rupees. Now imagine someone sells 100 rupees item, getting 1 crore revenue, needs courage and whatever, it doesn't matter what they're selling. For a 100 rupee average ticket size, revenue of 1 year of 1 crore is an achievement. I don't care what the product or service or what the team is. And even if you're from IIT, IIM or Harvard, that number itself tells me that you're capable. So the first 2-3 slides of the opening deck should be, sir, without raising money, we have done a top line of 1 crore, despite a product being the, 100 rupee product. Then I will say, what is the product? Now, this excites me. This, this is inquisitive investor. You want to excite me with 30 seconds so that I can give you 10 minutes. While you're walking with me after my session, you get that 30 seconds. If you don't excite me, I don't care. Even if you're crowded by people and you get that 30 seconds, I will tell you, get in touch with me. This is how it works. Investors are very sharp. They know what's going to work, what's not going to work for them. Be very precise. 30 seconds is more than enough. I don't know of a startup that I have invested in or a business that I'm in that I cannot convince people with less than 30 seconds. That's what the right answer to the long answer to your short question is. Not easy, but practice is what you should do.
Amazing answer, sir. I will let Tanisha speak right now. Tanisha, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi, sir. So my question is, we just started a few months ago, and we are making around 20K a month, and my startup is in the medical sector, and most of it is automated, so we don't have much of a team size right now. What I wanted to know is, how much data, at what number should I look for investment of funding, so that my numbers speak for myself rather than other details.
So if you're growing month on month, in the sector that you're in, which is medical, and if the average ticket size is small, and it's a subscription-based model, or it's a pay as you go, or a per service kind of a fee model, then you do really need to show me the growth month on month. You really need to show me the repeat customers. What I said earlier, you need to tell me how many people are being referred, if they are being referred. And if you are there and you feel that if you put some more money on the marketing or reaching out to the right customers or reaching out to your target audience, money is needed, you should raise money. If you don't have answers to these questions, then you find these answers to these questions first for yourselves, and then it's not about EBITDA. It's not about burning money. It's not about losing 1 lakh a month or on 20,000. Even if you're burning 10,000, it doesn't really matter, because initially the burn will be high. But the most important thing is where you're going every month after month, and what are the other parameters that I told you if you're joined in time, in terms of what the repeat, referral, average ticket size, cost of customer acquisition, burn, etc. Then you should look at raising money.
All right.
We are actually not burning, so we are making 20K a month.
You're making 20K a month, so then what is
in
to make
profit.
more money? What is stopping you?
So the issue would be, I want to find someone as my funding, so that I can connect with right people,
No,
and
but
I
if
can
you're
focus
already
more on the
making
market.
20,000 rupees a month, why can't you make more money by
Because
spending that 20,000 rupees?
Yes, we need to more work on the marketing skills, and we need to spend more on the marketing.
So spend that 20,000 first now and make 30,000 next month.
Okay, so yeah, at what number it will be enough for funding, where I can
6 months to 8 months of growth. So every 20,000 gets you 30,000. Then you spend 25,000 and you get to 40,000. Then you spend 35,000, you get to 50,000. Don't save money. Spend that money that you're making and show me the growth month on month for 6 months.
Okay.
Then I'll know if I put 2 lakhs, where will you be? Then I'll know.
Okay, true. Yeah,
I need
thank
to
you.
have a graph. Where is it going?
Yes, okay.
Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, sir. We do have the next question. It is from Stramani. Hello, sir. What steps have you taken so far to explore its feasibility?
What I have taken? Sorry.
What steps have you taken so far to explore its feasibility? Maybe a feasibility of any specific product.
Oh, we deep dive into the product, we deep dive into the service, we deep dive into the team, we deep dive into the competition, we deep dive into the possibility of the growth in 5-6 years. Would we be able to get 15-20x? Oh, we do a full diligence. We look at everything, every aspect of your business. We get you go through a stress test. We see how good you are at handling work-related stress, how good you are as a team. Oh, we get you through a grind. Once you've crossed a situation where we have agreed to invest and we go that fine, we can look at it, and your valuation or fund ask is almost is in the ballpark of what we want to look at. We go very deep. We look at many aspects.
Yep. By we, he means investors in general, and that's what it actually defines
I'm
investors.
telling you, every investor
Yeah.
would look, every professional investor, so friends and family or people who are starting off to invest in angel investment because they like TV shows. I don't know about them, but us, we would.
All right. And then we have one more question, that is it harder to raise money at the first time?
Very hard, hardest. Not that it is easy later, but it is the hardest to raise the first time.
Yep. And what other strategies should we use to ensure financial sustainability throughout the research space?
See, you should be aware of your cash flow. If you have to understand that you have to have, if fundraise happens, I will be here. Fundraise does not happen, I will be here. Partial fundraise happens, I'll be in between. But if no fundraise happens, I will not die. If you have that roadmap, you will never be under stress. You will continue to grow and scale up gradually. It might take you longer, but you will eventually grow. And that is the most important thing. So the stage is dependent on what you want, but it's very, very important that you are able to handle your cash flow, because fundraising, even if you raise one round and don't raise the next round, is equally bad. So it's very, very important that you know when you will be cash flow positive and revenue positive, or what is your next milestone or the next fundraise that you need.
All right. And then we have one more question, that is, what is the best way to get an initial investment for your startup as a student to get started with?
Grant. As a student, if you've not tested the market, if you don't have revenues, we started to record now. If you don't have all that, I would expect to take a grant from the incubator or the college or the state that you're in. Investment at an early stage in college without validation, without revenues is not easy. Not anymore. It might have worked 10, 12, 13 years ago, but now it won't, unless you have something very, very good and there is IP involved, and no one has done something like that before.
All right. Thank you for that. And there is one question from Kamachi that has, how much personal branding is helpful in beginning a startup?
Personal branding, product branding, company branding should be a way of life. If you are not branded, if you're not known in the market for being someone, whether it's ethics, whether it's quality, whether it's dependability, that branding is very, very important, because that is what is the most important thing. Now, if you're not if you're not a good storyteller, and if you don't brand yourselves well or communicate well, whether over email or whether it's on social media or whether it's very, very important, because you can't be um, um, doing or looking something or being known for something when you're selling something else. I mean, I can't be talking scalability, profitability, and making money. And when my investors or when my people who've invested on my behalf ask me, I say, hey, don't worry about investment. It's more about getting I give an absurd answer which does not make sense. So it has to go sink in with what you are, what your philosophies are, what your product is. If you're doing something, if you're in the healthcare sector, you have to be healthy. You can't be unhealthy and not be doing something. If you're in the pet care service, you have to understand and love pets. You can't just be saying that, I don't care about dogs and cats. I mean, you have to have that brand with you, otherwise it wouldn't work, because everyone who has a story or experience behind whatever they're doing, in addition to the technological ability or the marketing ability that you acquired over school, college, you really are a better startup or a better founder. So even your 30-second pitch, if you say that I'm I had this problem in my life, and or we, the founders, had this problem, and now, and I've always wanted to do that. It makes more sense because you've lived through that thing. So for us as investors, gives us a little bit of solace in addition to the numbers.
Yes, definitely. And one final question from Akshita. If the team is not from Tier 1 college, does that impact the investment?
Not. I'll tell you, it used to, but not anymore. I think it's very important that irrespective of the background that you are, irrespective of the city that you're from, irrespective of what college you are from, so long as your clarity on the product, service, and the business idea is good, uh, it doesn't matter. Investment is possible. Valuation might vary because see what happens is that how do we value a company if someone is coming from, let's say, an IIT and an IIM Ahmedabad, now his or her salary would be X. Now if I have done from a regional engineering college and I have done MBA from a local college, obviously my salary would not be what the same. So what are you bringing into the startup by not taking a job from that background and this background? The valuation might vary, but doesn't mean that IIT and IIM guy will have a better idea or a better business plan or a better investment or a better return on my investments. It could be the same down one. So and the same is the case with women. People ask, some investors are stupid enough to ask you, are you married? Do you have children? What will happen? Who works this? These are things that are gone. They don't make a difference if you are a good investor. If you have a good idea, if you have a good team, it doesn't matter. And we understand that the times are changing. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if it was not for many people or many organizations trying to do women-centric startups or investments or entrepreneurial investments or competitions, we wouldn't have reached here. So those things are not relevant at all for good investors. And if an investor does think like that, you're better off not taking money from him or her, because sooner or later, you will find other challenges. It's not recommended.
Yes, now that everything has gone diversely and partially all of us are operating remote, the location of the product
It
doesn't
doesn't matter.
always
I
impact
mean,
it.
nowadays, and this is a good thing that you've raised. I mean, I don't give more valuation to someone who's sitting in Bangalore and who's sitting in Raipur. If the product is the same, if the technology team is sitting in Israel, I don't care. The team can be sitting in Raipur. It's good quality, better quality of life, cheaper, easier, more profit, easier for me. I don't care. Many people don't care.
Yeah, true that. Okay. Also, we have one question from Sarah. What is the first step to take as a student to implement your ideas?
First step is to live that product. And by living, I don't mean to sleep with it or hold it in your hand, but to think of it constantly. How can you be different? Experience what others are doing. Why is it that you want to have that product or service? Would it solve? Would your friends want to have it? Would people living in Trichy want to have it? Would people living in Guwahati want to have it? Would someone living, you have to really literally read about it, learn about it. What else is happening? You should be so good that you should how a good cricketer, even while he's sleeping, he's practicing a stroke. Mentally, he's doing whatever, bowling or whatever, playing soccer. You have to understand that if you don't, at an early stage, don't live and read and know about the product, you will not be able to do justice to the startup. So that is the first step that I would take. If this is something that you've already done or been doing, then obviously trying to create a business model around it. How will you get the product right? How will you get the cost right? How will you do the marketing? Now, then that's the next step to be on, put it on paper and see how the flow will happen with product or service that you're trying to provide.
All right. And is there any critical factors that investors look for evaluation, during the feasibility of an idea?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
What are the most critical factors investors look for when evaluating the feasibility of an idea?
Oh, we look at everything possible, whether this will survive without money, whether this will survive with money, whether the competition will kill it, whether this is an acquirable company or a product or idea. How do I get the exit? Are the co-founders or the team, top management team, good enough? Do they have the skin in the game? We look at 20, 30, whatever different parameters when we are looking at you or looking at your deck. It's very, very important that we look at it from each and every angle. And, it's an endless list.
All right. And one more question. How could we start incubation cell in our college in initial terms?
Or whenever your college is ready to invest money, Government of India, Niti Aayog, MeitY, DST, all have schemes where they help fund the incubator, but some money has to come from your college or university. The rest comes from Government of India, and they'll be happy to provide you with that. I think Startup Hub under NITI, Ministry of Electronics and IT, MeitY, and Department of Science and Technology would be happy to do this. If you are a medical college, then BIRAC is also a Government of India body, which would help you provide with a lab for tests. So there are quite a few Government of India bodies that will help you get the incubation going. The first place is for the college or the university to be ready and having the will to do that and not just have a physical hardware. But the most important thing in an incubation center or an acceleration center is not the hardware or the technology or the equipment that you have or the place that you have, is to have the right mentors. Because, your professors and your teachers can help you create a product, validate a product in the lab, but does it make commercial sense? Is it viable? How to create a pitch deck, how to reach out to investors, what is the right size of investment that you should be looking at. All those things are very, very important. I mean, I've been to many, many IITs, and I've been told that all PhD students work on a product, service, whatever, and they have patented stuff lying in colleges because the IIT paid for it, but there's no commercial use. So that's where the business angle comes to it. So mentoring is equally important, which will come from organizations like Shooting Stars, TIE, etc., etc. And that's where you have to get involved with the network of people who provide free mentoring.
Understandable. Is it difficult to get investment for software projects, sir?
If you're a SaaS-based company providing a solution to multiple areas of software solutions to various people, from apps to websites to other ERPs, yes, it is difficult because Infosys does the same and many others do that. It's a business. It's not a scalable business. But if you focus your SaaS-based solution to a particular sector and you provide a UI, UX, and backend technology for that sector, which can scale up, it becomes a little more easier.
And one more question from Nandini. What platforms or communities would you recommend for students to showcase their ideas and gain initial tractions?
What platforms or communities?
Yeah,
Well,
platforms and communities for students to showcase their ideas and gain initial traction.
so many organizations do startup competitions in schools and colleges. I know there is Vadvani Foundation. I know there's TIE. I know there is hackathons that happen at various levels by different colleges. Shooting Stars is doing a business plan competition for women. And many, many others also who do that. Those platforms are good platforms to have. Reaching out to them will help. They'll be more than happy to work with the college at large, if not individually. And of course, reaching out to organizations over LinkedIn is also not a bad idea.
Yes, once they join events like this, they'll get some sort of visibility and how, they get an idea of how well they can brand themselves.
Exactly.
Right. And one more question from Ms. Kamachi. What do you see as a forecast whether AI diverts or attracts investors while we are promoting our product?
See, AI is a given. No matter what you're doing, you don't have to say that we're using AI. AI will have to be used. AI will be used. AI is like spell check. It will be needed. It'll be free eventually, or it'll be very nominal cost. It's so something that you need for every business, and you don't have to invest in AI team. You can use open sources, and APIs will be available, and you can use them. But AI is a given. AI will make your business faster, quicker, cheaper, and your turnaround time will decrease, and you will get better data points for you to reach out to different customers. Absolutely, you can't live without AI going forward.
Right. So there are some similar questions regarding platforms for best mentorship.
I've said that. I know of a few. I'm sure there are many. There's Thai. Reach out to your. I don't know what city you're in, but Thai chapters nearest ones should be good. You can reach out to Vadhvani Foundation. They are running something. There's all state governments have something. What state? I don't know what city or state they're in.
Right. We don't have that info. I think, yeah, best mentorship is to, collaborate.
Yeah. So, like, for example, if you're in Telangana, there's T Hub and so many other incubation centers. If you're in Rajasthan, there's I Hub. If you are iStart. If you're in Gujarat, it's I Hub. Kerala has Kerala Startup Mission. Karnataka has KEDAM. Every state has something or the other. I don't know why people are worried about not getting the right information. Everything is available online. Every state that I have been to, Madhya Pradesh is now creating one. Someone or the other the state governments have created advisory. Almost every state has a startup policy now. Bihar has one. So why would you not go to your startup policy and look at your nodal officer and reach out to them, and they'll be able to help you?
Right. And people are asking, what are the common mistakes young entrepreneurs make when turning ideas into investable business, and how can we avoid them?
Falling in love with the product or service far too much, because sometimes they're not scalable. Sometimes some startups are meant for experience and for you to shut down and start a different product or service altogether. So basically, sometimes you get so involved because you think your child is the best child, and you are over confident about the output or the outcome, and sometimes it doesn't work. So seeking opinion from others, putting a timeline. Okay, I'll try this for 1 year. If it works, if I'm able to raise money, great. If not, I will shut it down, or I'll do this as a business. I don't have to raise money. I will continue to grow organically, like that girl who's making 20,000 rupees a month is doing. It's okay. I started as a business person making money month on month, and then becoming an angel investor. See, there's nothing wrong in doing a business. Everyone doesn't have to be a startup and scale up and raise money. You can have a nice business too. You can be a good entrepreneur. I just really love these people who are just joining in now.
Funny enough, 2 more minutes to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are pretty sorted with the questions, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. If you would like to tell
How
some.
important is it to have a co-founder? Very important. It's
Actually,
as important as it is to have a partner in life. And maybe, in this case, more than one is preferred. Because you have to, when you scale up, the work increases. You have to divide work. You can't be doing everything yourself. Someone has to do operations, someone has to do marketing, someone has to do fundraising. Fundraising is a constant. Once you raise money once, you have to continue to raise money for the next 5-10 years before you become a successful business, and you don't need to raise money. So you need to have people doing all of that. Or your good senior management has to have equity or ESOPs. So it's all very important, but it's very important that you have all these people. More the merrier, better.
Right. Is there anything that you'd like to add as a wrap-up note apart from this, sir?
All I can tell you is that while my conversation or talk might be enlightening or disheartening, the fact that you are here and wanting to be an entrepreneur is good enough. Many people are not here. Many people will struggle, but so long as you have the drive and the will to do a business, to be an entrepreneur, to do an idea that others have not done or do it better, I think we collectively in the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, as startups and investors, will have a potentially great opportunity and ecosystem and the growth that is required for this country. So I think I wish you all the best. I'm always available. This platform is great. Please do apply. You might not get selected or shortlisted, but that does not really matter. It tells you where you stand, and continue to improvise and improve your product. I'm part of the advisory. I'll be there for the top few to be mentored one-on-one or one-on-two if you qualify. And of course, invest if you're ready for investment. We are happy to look at it and support you in any way. I'm always available. I'm not difficult to reach out to on LinkedIn or whatever. I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to wrap this up with a note and a few more details. So dear participants, attention all of you. I'll just share my screen to tell you more about it. All right. With this being said, we are here to, wrap up this amazing event. So this learning sessions, more of such learning sessions are yet to come for, all of you. So please do join this session, no matter what, by which you can shape yourself better and better. At this moment, I'd like to thank Black Soil for completely sponsoring this event. And we are supported by 12 plus ventures, including AICTE and T-Hub and many other many other ventures like Aspire, WIB, Datri Foundation of IIT Dharwad, and yeah, much more. Thank you to all our supporting partners. And if you are someone who are having a friends or a bandwidth of people who are looking to exponentially grow in the next 5-10 years, then please recommend this program to them, by which they can register and also learn more from these sessions, from the mentorings that are yet to come. So a quick note on the mentoring events that are to come. So these mentoring events are platforms where we will listen to your ideas for like 5 minutes, and then we will give you some suggestions by which you can improvise, and another 5 minutes where we can hear the revised and kind of complicit ideas on how well you can develop it. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned. We'll be updating everything in our WhatsApp channel. So for any questions, always feel free to reach out to me at rukhsana@storesfoundation.org. We'll drop all the contact details and everything right there in the group chat. Thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, sir, for taking this initiative and giving us your amazing, 1 hour of your time. Bye-bye, everyone.